Congratulations, you found my Q&A video. If you'd like to watch me answer some questions for a little bit, that's freaking awesome. If you'd like to participate in any possible future Q&As, I take questions from my Discord server, which you can find the link to in the description. Alright, let's go. What's a matchup you love that you haven't talked a lot about recently? Most of the matchups I'd say I love come from my top 50 most wanted death battles video. This is also foreshadowing for later in the Q&A, just a heads up. So a matchup that ranked really well in that, and I haven't talked about in a while, I guess would be the Eds versus the Animaniacs, and I do wish it got some more attention because it leverages their group dynamics perfectly. But if you're looking for a matchup I've basically never brought up, I might honestly say Darth Maul versus Judge Gabranth, Star Wars versus Final Fantasy. I know Maul has a lot of controversial picks, but based on the themes and vibes alone, I've gotten a lot more attached to this one. It can have so much energy and style to it if it ever happened. Of course though, I'm always looking out for new matchups, so this is far from the only answer. What was the very first anime that you saw? My very first one was Bakugan when I was a wee lad, with Gundalian Invasion being the one I got into the most. I do remember it quite fondly. After that, it was either the pilot to the original Naruto when I started watching that series in order, or the Hero in the Shadows episode of Dragon Ball Z I randomly caught on vacation. I don't remember which happened first. And I like to think that I've dabbled in a lot of the major series, but if you want the first one that I watched from start to finish without missing any of the content, that would be Attack on Titan. That was the first anime I ever watched with my dad, probably the only one I ever will, to be honest, but we still had a very fun time with it, and I certainly hope to expand my horizons even more in the future. What death battle episode isn't your favorite, but you can still enjoy? Honestly, this goes for a lot of the episodes I wouldn't say are that high up there for me. I just try to enjoy all of them as best I can. I know, it's crazy. I think the easiest answer for this is Harley Quinn vs. Jinx, because by definition, it's not one of my favorite Season 9 episodes, but its personality is very infectious to me, and I enjoy watching it a lot. But if you mean something I have a somewhat negative opinion on, I guess I'll say Macho Man vs. Kool-Aid Man. As a death battle, I don't like this formatting or emphasis on irrelevant things, but if I turn my brain off and treat it as something completely different, it's an entertaining watch. Again, I can get something out of most episodes, but those are just some examples. Can I be in the Q&A? Yeah, of course, just make sure you ask a good question. Why do you like wasting my time, man? What are some conspiracy theories you believe in? Sorry to disappoint you all, but you're not gonna get anything truly heinous out of me with this one. I'm not all that paranoid. I do think aliens are real, not that they're any close to us, but with the incomprehensible size of the universe, I have to believe there's some kind of intelligent life outside of Earth. If anything else, I wouldn't be surprised if healthcare is prioritizing money in more malicious ways, maybe not to the point where they're hiding the cure for cancer or anything, but we already know some treatments, including chemotherapy, have more specific or effective versions that they're charging way more for, so maybe there's more extreme versions of that happening that we're not being told about. But I'm not gonna say I know for sure because I don't. I just wanted something to answer this question with, to be honest. What is your 51st most wanted death battle? Once again, this is referencing my top 50 most wanted death battles video because that's all I'm known for at this point. Normally I wouldn't answer this kind of question because it could just snowball into listing more and more matchups, but since only one from my top 50 has happened since making that video, naming one more would actually just round it out again. So for one time only, I will give an official update to my most wanted death battles. Ghost Rider vs. Spawn was number 5, so just move everything from number 6 to number 50 up one spot for convenience, which will then make my new 50th spot go to Monokuma vs. Koro Sensei. Probably won't surprise too many people, I've gotten a lot more into that one this year. And if you're interested in seeing the rest of the list to know what else I like, you can click the card up there or find the link in the description. And for the general community question, I have decided to answer, how can I get started as a death battle influencer? I've been asked various versions of this question, and while there really is no right or wrong way to do it, I'll offer up what I feel has helped me on my journey. This may not be the most encouraging thing to say, but I think the biggest thing that benefited me has just been time. I've been doing stuff like this for over 10 years now, and I needed to wait a little while before seeing any significant traction. So the best thing I can say is just be patient with what you're doing, try to engage with the people that do find you, and don't give up if things don't start moving immediately. There is no secret to getting noticed, but it is really about persistence. And assuming that you're making videos that you enjoy making and are passionate about, that shouldn't be too difficult. difficult provided that you have the time to do it. And that's an important thing too. If you're gonna do it and commit time to it, you gotta genuinely enjoy it. Not just being in the community, but the kinds of videos that you are making. Because I've had phases where I didn't enjoy it as much, and that can fucking destroy you after enough time, so it's gotta be something you like. And at least as far as my experiences, you don't need a huge budget. I recommend getting a decent microphone if you want to do a lot of voiceover, but if you want to do like trailers or more edited stuff, there's definitely free software out there that can work for you. If you want to do reaction videos or whatever, then you can use whatever camera and screen recorder you have. Just make sure to bring the energy and put in the time to make the most well thought out videos that you can. And if gaining an audience is really important to you, it's good to make videos that the average Death Battle viewer might be interested in, such as talking about the current or upcoming Death Battle episode, or even as simple as listing your favorite episodes or matchups. You may also want to develop a unique identity for yourself to make you stand out. Not to say that I stand out the most, but I've tried to emulate a distinct vibe that at least some people seem to enjoy. Of course, this kind of stuff can start to settle in over time, but this is the stuff that I have tried to do to grab people's attention, because that's kind of always the first step. But if there's anything else I think someone interested in trying this should know, it's that while there will be people that will be interested in what you have to say, you'll also run into a lot of people who really don't care about the creative side of your content. Like, it's gone to the point for me where people will just treat my comment sections as like another Death Battle subreddit, where they'll just ignore everything that I say in the post or the video or whatnot, and just use it as another platform to push whatever unrelated Death Battle opinions they feel like pushing at that moment. That is actually the one thing that I hate about being a Death Battle influencer, because it's times like those where it just feels a little too pointless. But the community isn't always going to react the way that you want, and I think anyone who's interested in this stuff for the right reasons should at least give it a try. Anyone can do it as long as you're persistent, passionate, and most importantly, true to yourself. Because they're your opinions. They're made to be different. And that's pretty well gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks to everyone who asked me something, and again, if you want to, be sure to join the Discord with the link below. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, but either way, I appreciate you so much for watching. Hope to catch you next time. Peace out.